up, good people? We're back once again for another episode of The Post Up. I am your man, Yells, and I'm here with the big B Ron. What's going on, B Ron?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey,
Wonderful day, wonderful day. Yeah, it was good to see you as always, sir.
hey, man. It's early in the morning, but I'm feeling good. I'm coked up. That's Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
so wait a second, hang
That's
on.
Coca-Cola. But excited, man. We got somebody here, B Ron. As usual, please do the honors.
Absolutely, we sure do. This morning we have joining us Charles Pinkard from Run DNV. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Joe. Doing great.
Good, good. Glad to have you here, man. Glad to have you here. Let's just jump right into things, shall we? So, and I'm gonna hit you with a hard one right off the bat. Pause on that. What is your biggest weakness in your game right now?
I would say my biggest weakness in my game right now is guarding people up close. So most of the time I can guard people that are taller than me because I can back up and try to swat it down. But when they're right close up to me, they somehow just put up a floater on me. I can't really do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, perimeter defense is always a struggle. That's one of the things you work on that you get to the league. So I feel you on that. And I bet one of the reasons we had one of those moments early in the tournament, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but there was a nice little crossover that got put on you. I think maybe you having some flashbacks. We all got to see
That
that.
can happen again. Maybe not. I don't know.
Hey, you never know, man. Never know. But here's one thing that I do hope you know, or have some sort of idea of anyway. Is there any current or former similar hoops player that you look up to in terms of molding your game after?
Well, the one player that I mold my game after is De'Aaron Cruz. So I played with him at the St. Louis tournament at Havoc in the Heartland. I just love the way he plays because he's almost he's shorter than I am, or about the same age. I mean, about the same height, but he's so moving, and he gets inside, and he can do a whole lot of things. He makes the plays. He goes in. He sets up everything. Gets the points. He's not afraid of the big man, and he tries to do everything that he can.
Yeah. Hey, and quite possibly one of the fastest guys in all of SimWorld hoops. I'm a big fan of his game too. I'm glad you shouted him out, man. But I'm a big fan of your game too. We'll see if you have to get those afterburners put on you if your game's going to turn into De'Aaron Cruz. His is all predicated on speed.
Yeah, you gotta fly inside and put up a bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I really like De'Aaron Cruz. I was hard on him earlier. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you about that. I was, but I've turned a corner. I can grow. It's possible. I can do it. Speaking of growing though, what made you choose to play for Run DMV? I know that you are a Maryland kid, but did that have any weight in terms of making that decision, in terms of growing to make that call?
Well, at first, I had about three people coming after me, including one damn big. I had Andy Stripes, and then I had Coach Jay Lush come in and say, "Hey, let's try to make a tandem with you at a wing spot." Then Andy Stripes and knew the coaches and knew the staff there.
Okay.
But then one DMV came at me like, "Hey, I want you to be a wing player, but I understand you're 6'2". You might be able to stay inside the guard spot. We're not gonna pressure you. Do some drills to help you get into that wing spot." And of course, me being from around the area, the DMV area, it kind of pushed me into, yeah, I want to stay in house. And the other coaches understood that, and that everything's on good terms.
That's awesome. I'll add to this. It's Coach Myron Murray is not a bad coach to play for. After we saw what he was able to do with CKC, household name in high school basketball now, but was not so much the case to start the season. Coach Myron Murray, a great, what would we say, nurturer. He brings along talent. So great fit for you if you're looking to continue to grow. And you seem like a humble kid, so awesome move, man.
Thank you.
Def- Definitely have to agree there. I don't think you could have gone wrong with any of those options, to be honest with you. But I think you picked one of the best ones in Myron Murray. That's not a slight at any of the other coaches that reached out to you. Just knowing what Coach Murray did last year with Kiki Cross and turning him into what he became was impressive, and making that choice I think is going to be beneficial for you. Um, let's get into another thing though. We have seen a lot of coaches in the last few days coming and going. We saw J6 from Heartland leave. We saw just today or yesterday Keyshawn Everett leave to go to Washington.
Again.
Right, again, yes, again. This time though, it was on volition. I will say that much. So I'm glad he got to do it with on volition this time. I would have liked to see him run it back with Rating Trays, but on the flip side of that, we've also seen new coaches come in. We saw Skinny Williams yesterday join and take over Heartland Zombie Stars.
Washington.
So,
Hey, we gotta get it right, Coach Skinny Washington. I can't wait till we get an expose on him, man. That is, well, I guess he's slender. Go ahead though.
No, it's all right. I said when I saw it, I said it's a great name. I like that name, Skinny. I like that. Anyway, what are you guys' thoughts on all these moves, and how do you think that this affects these teams? And Charles, in your situation, how would it have affected you if Coach Murray, for example, were to decide to leave? How would that have affected your decision to commit to play for NDMV, or would it not have?
Well, if Coach Murray decided to leave, yeah, I'll probably be upset. I'll try to talk to him, see where he's going. But obviously, I am the hometown kid. I am from the DMV, so I want to stay in the Maryland area. But I would still try to talk with Coach Murray to see what was up, what went wrong. If it wasn't with the players, it wasn't with the staff, or whatever. What went down for him to leave. I mean, I would try to stay in touch with him to see where he's going, make sure he's okay. But ultimately, I would probably stay with one DMV.
Well, see, you sound like a hometown kid. You want to stay close, but you touched on a couple things there that are important to me. B-Ron may have an inkling that I'm kind of passionate about this, man. So, you kids, you guys have made, and I think it speaks to a larger topic than what we probably want to talk about on Fun Loving Post Up, right? But, man, these kids, you know a lot like yourself, Charles. These kids are out here making decisions on what is going to better their future. To get your standing together for what your college options are going to be, what your pro level options could be, what your shining situation may be, and to have coaches, in the J6 situation where, he may or may not have communicated with the team, but what it sounds like he didn't. That's what it sounds like. He didn't. And he just ups and leaves. And you leave these kids in a position where, they committed to you. They said, hey, we're here for you, coach. And then the coach walks away. I think it stinks. I'm not a big fan of it. On the other hand, to play devil's advocate, they do get a fresh start, but I just wonder at this age, I remember when I was 15, 16, my bounce back was not strong. You know what I'm saying? If something went down and there was an immediate change with what I thought was going to be my future, it wasn't like, I didn't have a positive attitude. It was like, fresh new start. I was like, damn, So, right. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I know these coaches have a life and they have to do what they have to do too, but personal commitment is real big with me, man. But.
And that makes sense. Yells, I understand where you're coming from with that. And I will say that I don't like the moves coming so close to the season starting. Because that I think is more disruptive than were it to have happened a month or two ago before, everything started getting crazy with recruiting and all that stuff. Now you're running the risk of putting your players in a bad situation where they have to learn a whole new offense or in a whole new scheme
Yeah.
in a matter of weeks that they, would have had a lot more time to do or have a better idea of coming in. Let's take Heartland for example, a perfect example here with, Coach Skinny coming in. He's instituting a whole new, offense and a whole new scheme that they weren't running under J6, I would imagine. And, he might not like the players he has, or he might want to shuffle things around. I don't know what his plans are, obviously, but just a lot of that stuff comes into play too. These aren't my kids. How do I take them and mold them into what I want them to be versus what they were going to be under another guy's system, for example.
Yep.
But that's just my thoughts on that. We do have more thoughts to get to, though, when it comes to player rankings. Those came out yesterday. And let's start with you, Charles, since you are our guest. I'm just talking about ESPN here. You are number 44 in the ESPN rankings. How do you feel about that?
Well, before I was, close to 80 in the rankings, and I was kind of upset with that. But now I'm all the way up to 44. I'm in the top 50, which I'm great with. But I'm pretty much going to try to bank for that top 20 list and try to be better than what the rankings say I am.
I'm looking at these rankings here, and I'm looking at 1 through 20 on ESPN. Who are you knocking out of that top 20? Who do you have your target on, Charles? And man, I don't know if you've taken a look at those rankings, but if you say you want to be in the top 20, you got to be aiming for somebody. I'm looking at some names here. You want me to give you some, or you already got it in head?
Give me some names.
Yeah, I see.
I take them all.
I see Nene Gibson's number 20. Royce Anderson, 19. You got Marcus Lifat is 18. Aaron Lovejoy out of Gotham 5. Mikey Williams, Jafet Towns, Montel Cage. There's some stiff competition there, Charles. I think you're up to the challenge, but there is some stiff competition there.
Yeah, I know, but I would probably have to go against Royce Anderson or one of the Williams brothers or something like that because I probably know him and I probably went up against him once or twice. I mean, come on, I went up against Trey Hyman and I made him miss.
Yeah,
and I went up against Pope and he didn't. He got. 2 shots on me? 3 shots on me?
Yeah.
And I'm only 44?
Yeah. This is true. Well, let's see.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Look, the rankings. I'm gonna just go ahead and say this. They're all over the place. What the hell is going on? I'll lead with none of these rankings matter. I'm sorry. A great move up for you. Charles, moving from 80, from the 80s to 44. But we haven't played these significant games. I gotta keep it real here. Once we get these significant, the season gets rolling here.
Yeah.
Once I'm sorry, distracted there for a second. Once we get the season rolling here, then these rankings will have a lot more weight to me. I think Marsh talked about it on his podcast yesterday, like seeing Bronny James not inside the top 10 on multiple ranking boards. It's just mind-boggling to me. There's quite a few other kids. We're only talking ESPN right now, I'm guessing. Is that the case?
That was what I had up. Yes.
The only credible rankings right now, I guess. So. But yeah, once some meaningful games start playing, and we see how you kids play under the pressure throughout a full 48 a full 32 in a system, then I'll get into these conversations. But for right now, the rankings are the rankings, and more importantly, if you're, Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're like really the top number 1, 2 guys are the ones that really get those major looks from the colleges and some some other eyes where things really impacts you in a major way. But outside of that, all of y'all are gonna work. Y'all are gonna work for everything you earn. You're gonna earn that respect and those opportunities every day in every game until you show that up later in the year to when those NBA teams or those pro level teams start calling. So you got your 1-2s and your 3s. Outside of that, everybody's grinding, in my opinion.
Right.
Exactly, and speaking of that, just want to touch on something else really quick. You brought up the earning of and want to be number one and all that stuff, and I just want to throw this out there to everybody, to all you players out there. It's really great that all of you want to be number one. It's really great. Really, I love that.
Yeah.
However, there can only be one number one. Y'all got to be 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, how are you going to handle not being number one? How are you going to handle being number 85, number 100? How are you going to handle not getting the attention that you may think you deserve? So all of that comes into play too. In my personal opinion, that is a bigger deal to me than what these player rankings are. And as we said right now, the rankings are the rankings. No one's played any meaningful games yet. I'm not stepping on the court, so don't worry about that. You don't gotta worry about me going on the court because it'll be fine.
Kobe Bryant was the number 57th ranked player in high school when he played high school ball. Kevin Garnett was the number 23 ranked player when he played high school ball. J.R. Smith. Anybody know that name? Is he the greatest player ever? No. He was once ranked number 4 in all of high school basketball. I think these things tell some stories if anyone cares. But if you only care about being number 1, hey kids, there's a story I'm learning. There's something I'm learning as well. But yeah, Kobe Bryant 57. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah. That what? Fair enough. That's all that I got. All we got on our list here today. Anything else you got, Yos?
Hey man, you know what it is.
I know we got that post coming up, man.
Yeah, we've been in the key for far too long, sir. They're shooting some free throws. This might be a 1-and-1. Charles, if you would have went to any other team, what was it gonna be?
Any other high school team? Any other college team?
Any other SimWorld Hoops team. If you were going somewhere else, if you did not end up at Run DMV, where were you going to end up?
It was probably going to be Andy Stripes.
I think you alluded to that. Not such a tough question. I got you. All right. Who is circled on your calendar to play against Mr. Pinkert?
It's going to be, of course, Donnell Pope, Trey Hyman, and Royce Henderson. Those are the 3 guys that I want to go up against.
All right. Hey, you came with it. You were prepared for those. You already knew you won, so you guys better look out. All right, I got one more, man. I do. I know we're only supposed to have 2 questions. But we're talking about rankings. You've been very candid about things, and I appreciate, man. You're refreshing. So, DJ Wagner's ranked the number 1 guy, unanimously. In all of high school basketball on any ranking you could technically find. You got a chance to see Bronny James in the last tournament of the preseason. Bronny James, is he outside of the top 10 for you?
Compared to me, yeah, I would say he's probably outside the top 10, but I wouldn't put him that low. I would probably put him, I don't know, 15, 16-ish. I mean, he is a good player, don't get me wrong. But when you come in and everything's wrapped around LeBron James and everything else, you have to have a set point that you're all the way down low and then improve yourself. So pretty much I would say 15 seems likely if everybody thinks that he's a great player. 15 is where he needs to be set point right now. And
I
then
have a counter to that.
You have a counter? I got a counter to that, B-Ron. Can we get Bronny on next week?
Hey, we could try, man.
We'll see. We'll see if LeBron lets us through. I hear Coach Smith doesn't even get to talk to Bronny unless he talks to LeBron first. So, hey, what's your counter, B-Ron?
So my counter to that is that DJ Wagner came in and immediately we already knew that he was the number one best player in high school. Why is that any different from Bronny James? Is it because of his dad that there's this animosity towards Bronny James? Bronny and Bryce. I don't understand where the vitriol comes from, because for me personally, it seems like it's just because it's LeBron James's kid, and it's just, hey, we're going after him instead of going after the guy who's really number one, DJ Wagner.
Hey, people steer clear of the assassin, right? They don't want that smoke with DJ, so they aim at Bronny. I feel you, but guess what? All that aside, Charles, keep aiming for Bronny. I want to see y'all take him out. I have no issues with it at all.
Of course.
But look, hey man, it's been a great morning, great episode. We got a lot more we got to do today. A lot more news to come. A lot happening here in SimWorld Hoops. We're only 20 days away from the start of the season, man. I'm really excited.
Everyone's a short month too.
Oh yeah. I do want to take this moment just to tell everybody thank you, man. We hit 500 in our server just a few weeks ago, or just a few days ago. You guys have been invested. We got more growing to do. SimWorld Hoops doing big things. I can't wait until we get to see some of you kids move forward with your collegiate career in the next level. So those are the next steps. And any coaches out there, we're looking for more quality coaches. So join us, man. Come post up with us. You caught that? Come post up with us.
Yes, sir.
This has been the Post Up, man. B-Ron, Charles, I'm Yells. You guys want to say anything before we get out of here?
I'm just excited to have you guys here, and I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, for real. And from me, you guys, tie your shoes and have a good day.
We out of this thing. Peace.